Welcome back to Inside the Heat. We're now outside Symphony Hall, the alternative location for enshrinement here in Springfield, Mass, when you have a Shaq-sized class. Speaking of Shaquille O'Neal, the four-time NBA champion and 15-time NBA All-Star, played a couple more seasons for the Miami Heat before moving on to Phoenix, Cleveland, and ending his 19-year illustrious NBA career in Boston. After retirement, 5 years later, he's about to receive the highest honor anybody associated with basketball can receive: enshrinement into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
It's a true honor to be a part of this great fraternity. At the age of 10, my father said, "Son, if you listen to me, he told me this day would happen." And hopefully when a father's quizzing his son on a great big man of the game, hopefully Shaquille O'Neal's name would be in the answer.
When the actual call happened, Shaquille, what was that feeling inside of you?
For me, it was a great call, but it was also a sad call. I'm programmed since day one, every accolade, every trophy, call big man Butchie Harris and say, "We did it." I would bring him a trophy, championship trophy, and he'd be like, "All right, see you later, go get me another one." That's just how he was. He never wanted me to be satisfied, but I know this one would have made him crack a big smile and probably would have made him crack a tear.
A few months after the call, Shaquille O'Neal headed to Springfield, Massachusetts for his enshrinement into the Hall of Fame. But before any recognition, he stopped to meet with some of his biggest fans.
I'm from Hong Kong, traveled 8,000 miles just to come to see you again.
Thank you.
Very much.
I just anticipated what Shaquille always gives you. He gives you kindness, he gives you his time, and he always does a very fine job for his fans.
After signing a few autographs, the enshrinement class of 2016 was announced, and Shaq received the new Hager design orange jacket.
This is Morgan, Michigan State. You like Coach Izzo? You want a picture with him too? All right, come on, Coach.
When you look at how he handles people, I just love being around him. He's a lot of fun to be around.
It's a surreal moment, looking up at all the great pictures. Now we're among those guys, and it's a great feeling.
And finally, the moment was here. September 9th, 2016, Shaquille O'Neal was enshrined into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame.
To have players and representatives who are among the best in the world. As part of our Miami Heat legacy, we feel very honored and humbled.
It was automatic. He was going to be a Hall of Famer coming out of LSU.
He will go down as top 3 dominant big mans in this league.
Shaq, not only dunked but tore down backboards.
He's one of the most dominant players that I've had the chance to physically watch and compete against.
Big men was basically scared to go up against him because Shaquille knew how to use everything that God blessed him with. You know, his butt, his arms, his legs. I mean, he would put everything on you.
There was no book or scouting report on how to defend Shaq. There couldn't be, because he was too big, too talented, too skilled, too competitive, and too much of a winner.
Welcoming Shaquille O'Neal to the Hall of Fame are Julius Erving, Alonzo Mourning, Bill Russell, and Isaiah Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, Shaquille O'Neal.
He is going to be really humbled when he gets on that stage because that award is significant, it means something, and it tells you that your career mattered to a lot of people.
I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. Even more honored to present him at the Hall of Fame.
Alonzo Mourning, arch nemesis turned great friend. We both entered the league together in 1992. Then in 2006, we joined forces together to win his first and my 4th title for the Miami Heat. Thank you, Zoe. Couldn't have done it without you. My first thank you goes to my beautiful mother, Lucille O'Neal. My first recollection was of you fighting with the bus driver because he refused to believe that a 2-year-old could be this big. My father couldn't be here with us tonight, but I left the seat empty for him. And I know he's watching, and I just want to say thank you. So it's been quite a career. And nowadays, what motivates me is applying the life lessons that I learned from my parents so long ago. I learned to be giving, to work hard, but not to take myself too seriously. Like sitting in the Buick, I knew I couldn't fit in. Yeah, there was like 3 men, I was like, I fit.
Shaq is certainly deserving of the Hall of Fame recognition. To win the championships that he's won, the long career, the impact that he really has had on the game, one of the greatest centers of all time, obviously. There's a few guys that come around and they're first ballot Hall of Famers, and Shaq is one of those guys.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat. Being enshrined in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame is the highest honor any basketball player can receive. Shaquille O'Neal is now in the Hall of Fame, and he arrives here as a Hall of Fame person as well, with his larger-than-life personality. Shaquille O'Neal has a passionate fan base due to his amazing success in sports and entertainment.
Overall, I've done my best to be a good role model to the youth and to those who would look up to me. My message to the youth has always been the same. Never give up, work hard, and continue to learn.
First see Shaq, and your initial thought is, wow, he's intimidating. I'm afraid of him. But he's one of the most generous and kindest guys that I've ever met.
Coming to a new community down here in South Florida, and he immediately wanted to immerse himself.
Shaq is a larger-than-life guy. There's nobody else in the world that's like him.
He's done well. You know, he's gone back and gotten his education. He's been a great example for our youth. He's shown his versatility, whether it's acting or singing or playing basketball.
Well, give me your best. Let me see your best.
Shaq, away from the game of basketball, is just a fun-loving guy.
Come a chameleon.
Is that Shaquille O'Neal? Is it true that you work out in the middle of the night?
He was a joker and I mean a great personality.
Can you dig it?
He loves having fun. He's a very outgoing guy. He's a guy that brings people together.
Flash.
Shaq came with just this joy, buoyancy, and the guy that was having fun out there in the court. He brought a whole different element to basketball.
I think one of the most special honors players can have is to be recognized by the Hall of Fame. One of the second most special honors is to have your number retired by your team.
The fact that he was so important in pushing us into a realm that we could believe we could do even more, he most deservedly needs to have his jersey hung.
I love you, man. I just want you to know that. This was so unexpected, but I'm glad I got the call from Pat to just, you know, get to come to Miami and hang out and see good friends, and it's a great honor.
So, big fellas.
Proud of you, boy. Do your thing.
Congratulations, man.
I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
This will always be looked at as a championship organization in Miami because of the tone that was set from Shaq as he stepped off the diesel truck.
Shaquille.
He's a great man. He's a great player. We are so honored tonight to be able to do something we wanted to do for a long time. He is so deserving to be up there with Zoe and Tim Hardaway. And we want to raise right now Shaquille O'Neal to the rafters where he belongs at American Airlines Arena.
I want to thank the Harrison family. I want to thank the Heat organization, Pat. I want to thank you guys, the fans. Couldn't have done without you in 2006. So Miami, thank you guys. I love you guys. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Thank you. It's nice to look up and see my jersey up there next to Alonzo and Tim Hardaway. Brought back memories of 2006. Thank you to the Heat fans, and thank you to the guy who made that diesel remote control little car jammy. I can't wait to ride it.
Shaq has it all to himself. Look at that hustle by Shaquille.
When we're all done, what's going to be the Shaquille O'Neal legacy?
Only thing I want people to say was Shaquille O'Neal was a nice guy. Doesn't matter how many points I scored, how many highlights. None of that is important. As long as people say, hey, I met Shaq, he's a nice guy. Well, that's all that matters to me.
I think Shaq's legacy will be as one of the ultimate winners in this league, ever.
He was one of the greatest basketball players or one of the greatest centers that ever played this game.
He's one of those types of players. Everywhere he went, people expected good things to happen, and it was because of his presence.
He was big, he was a force, and he wasn't ashamed or afraid to throw that around and to be who he is.
I think his legacy will live on as being the last that dominated the paint.
There'll never be anybody like Shaquille O'Neal, ever. It won't even be even close.
His real legacy will be of love, charity, discipline, and humor. He's got it all.
Shaquille O'Neal is now an analyst on Inside the NBA, and when he's not on TV, he's still on TV as a very successful pitchman for a plethora of products. His work in the community continues as well, especially with the Boys and Girls Club of America. Thank you so very much for sharing in this special moment as Shaquille's accomplishments and achievements come full circle from the day that Pat Riley now calls the most important transaction in Heat history to this fantastic enshrinement. And that, in part, is why Shaquille's 32 will wave in the rafters of American Airlines Arena for eternity. Thank you so very much for enjoying this edition of Inside the Heat. I am Jason Jackson.